I'm not where I want to be. I'm not as successful as I want to be. I'm not as fit as I should have been. I'm not as hot as I wish I was. These are some of the thoughts that might haunt you from time to time. They're definitely thoughts that bug me once in a while. But the thing is, who makes these rules? Who makes these boundaries? What is time? What is early? What is late? If I die in 5 years, then this is probably really late and I should be running my way through life. But if I die at the age of 90, then this is not too late in life and I still have some time to go. So my point is, if time is subjective and if it's relative to each of us, then what's the point in hurrying? We don't know how long we're going to live. But what I do know is that you only live once. I want you all to think of a number. Can you guys do that for me? Just think of any number. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. 9, 10. Okay, so how many of you thought of a number between 1 to 10? Raise your hands. That's a very large number. How many of you thought of a number between 1 to 100? Okay. And 100 to 10,000. Okay. And above 10,000. Nice. So that's like just a few. So this is something that makes us realize how our brains are wired. We are brought up or we grow up to think small, think easy, think simple. Just in case I need to remember my number, it shouldn't be too big, right? You're on the verge of like, can I remember this? Can I not? There's fear. There's a sense of fear that we operate with. But my encouraging advice to you would be to operate from a place of creativity and love, curiosity and wonder, and never with fear. Because when we operate from a place of fear, we are limiting ourselves and we are only going to be stagnant. We may grow old, but we may not grow up. So, if you think of living only once, what do you first think of? First thing you may think of is, I need to know exactly what I'm cut out to do. I need to know exactly where I'm supposed to be. All of these questions that may bother you. But if you actually think about having one life, you will want to do everything you actually love, everything you enjoy, and everything that's worth your while. You can either win or you can learn. According to me, I don't think there's anything as losing or loss. You either win or you learn from every experience in life. And as we can see from the picture, she looks like she's having a blast, and that's what my endeavor is in this lifetime. There are many of you who may think that we have, with all due respect to every single theory out there, that we have more than one life. But in this mind and in this body and in this age and in this gender and in this being, I think that we have only one life. So make the most of it and make it count. Just, let's go back. Yeah, so just a couple of days ago, a friend of mine who's actually in the audience today, I'm not going to mention her name, but she'll remember. Just a couple of days ago, she messaged me on Instagram, and I quote, "How many talents God has given you, He has deprived us." And in that second, I was like, you know what? I'm just winging it. And everyone's kind of winging it. So while you're fearing yourself and doubting yourself, there are other people who are admiring you. So I don't think God has deprived anyone, to be honest. I think He's a fair God, if He exists. So do everything you love, take that leap, and don't think twice. It brings me to my next point, which is my favorite ever concept. Failure. I want everyone in the audience to repeat after me. Failure is great. Failure is awesome. Failure is necessary. Failure is beautiful. Failure is the best kind of lesson. As you can see, there are many, many sayings about failure, and my favorite one being, first attempt in learning stands for fail. So you never really fail. If you don't know failure, you don't know success. This reminds me of an incident that happened in my life, just to make it a little more personal. In 2016 or 2017, I was called to be a part of a film, which would have been my first film, and it's the movie Charlie, the Malayalam film Charlie. Some of you have heard of it. So I did 3 rounds of auditions, and at the 3rd round of the audition, they said, "You have got the role." And I was ecstatic because I was like, I'm going to be in a movie. And I started practicing my lines, and a week later, after knowing about 19 scenes, they tell me that we're changing the location, so we're going to have to send you back to Bangalore from Kerala, and we'll let you know when the film resumes. So we'll be in touch, don't worry, ma'am. Chechi, which means sister in Malayalam. And I said, okay, cool, sure. And naive little me, I was like, wonderful. And I went back home to Bangalore, and I said, cool, now let's learn more Malayalam, and let's learn some more dialogues and work really hard. And guess what, guys? In a week, no one called me. In 2 weeks, no one called me. In 3 weeks, no one picked up my calls. And I had no idea what exactly happened. I said, okay, maybe they're just taking time to find the location. Because I always look for the positivity in things. I look for silver linings. And so I told myself, don't worry, they'll call back. And in a few days, I found out from a friend that they had started shooting with an established actress, and that they no longer needed me. So the first thing I did was weep. I wept, and I said, this industry is not for me, and it's too cutthroat, and it's just too difficult. I can't do this. How can they reject me? Why have they rejected me? Is it because I didn't learn enough Malayalam? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? And did I need to lose a few more kgs? But the thing is, till today, I will never know what the reason is. But I am also on my 10th feature film, which means that failure was honestly a stepping stone to success. You can see on the image, the man is literally holding a stair which says fail, and he's making it his next step. So fail, and there's a little in the middle which says fail better. So you also get better at something which is failing, which is not a bad thing. My favorite person in the entire universe, Maya Angelou. Courage allows the successful woman to fail and learn powerful lessons from the failure, so that in the end, she didn't fail. She didn't fail at all. Good reminder in my own life. This brings me to a really interesting part of this talk, which is, while I was growing up, my parents would want me to do well in my studies, but they would send me for every class possible. Glass painting, theatre, music school or music classes, choirs, swimming, everything under the sun. And I cannot thank them enough. My mother's in the audience. Thank you, Mom, for everything that you made us go through in this life, and not just our careers and our professions. My dad, on the other hand, was very professional, career-oriented, but that is important as well. But right now, looking back, if I hadn't done all of these classes and extracurricular activities, I don't think that I would be where I am today. Also, a huge point to remember is that the more you do, the more you get in return. The more you give back to society, the more you're going to leave behind when you leave this world. So, more sources of income as well, that would mean, which means you'll be less stressed. You might think, if I'm doing too much, I'm going to be too stressed. I'm going to be too stressed, but that's not true. Stressed backwards, who knows what stressed backwards is? Desserts. Desserts. So don't forget to eat some desserts along the way, guys. So the theme for today, for today's TEDx event is ether, which is your essence and what you bring personally to the table. And how to kindle your quintessence is the slogan. Jennifer Elizabeth says, how you spend your time when you are not working or studying says everything about who you are and what is motivating your life. So just think back for a few seconds. Other than work, what else are you doing with your life? That would be the quintessence of your life and what you're bringing to the table without work, without being a duty, and without it being something that you have to do. So during the pandemic, my best friend and I, who's also in the audience, she was telling me about her life and about how her parents wanted her to get married and all of that. And I was like, yeah, I think we should see what exactly is important. So both of us sat down and realized that we needed to figure out how balanced our lives are. So there's this thing called the Wheel of Life, which talks about holistic development, and there are various parts in it. And as you can see in the circle, there are lines, which is like the radii, and you need to mark yourself on those lines where exactly you stand. And at the end of marking on those lines, you need to form a circle. And ours looked like an amoeba, not a circle. So we were like, okay, so socially we're fine and work-wise we're fine, but mental health-wise, physical health-wise, personal growth, your physical environment, there are so many aspects that matter. And once we did that, we were able to achieve holistic development. For holistic development, there are three things that matter: purpose, confusion, and balance. Some of you might be like, why confusion? Because confusion is the only thing that leads to clarity. So for purpose, let's talk a little bit about that. So If your why is clear, then your how is going to be easy. Why do you want to do something? What is it going to do for you and for others? What is it going to kindle within you? Is it going to be of any use? Is it going to bring you happiness? Is it going to bring you money? Is it going to bring you satisfaction? Ask yourself why. The second most important thing for me is giving back. I think it's super important for us to realize everything that we have and where it's come from. Our roots, realizing that what we have is not ours. It's been given to us by God, by the universe, by our parents, by others, by society. It's all been given to us. It's not ours. So the least we can do is give back and leave something behind before we leave this world. There's a saying that I heard, I forgot who said it, but it goes, leave something better than you found it. Your direction is way more important than your speed. This brings me to balance. Albert Einstein says, life is like a bicycle. To keep balance, you've got to keep moving. The minute you stop moving, put your leg off, you fall, your bicycle falls, which means that without constantly moving, you're not going to find balance. The more you sit in your room and do nothing, the more you're losing balance. And I'm sure some of you have faced this in life. It's never too late to change the course or trajectory of your life. It's never too late to do what you love. These are just reminders. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to be yourself unapologetically. It's never too late to change. And it's never too late to start enjoying your life. You may have gone through the worst ever times, lost the people you love the most, dealt with death, dealt with health issues, but happiness is a choice. You can always choose to change your mindset. What's the difference between doing what you love and loving what you do? I think the difference is, I'm always having these arguments with people. Like, it's not the same. Doing what you love and loving what you do is not the same. Because if you're doing what you love, you're moving with purpose. You're moving with clarity. You're moving with knowing exactly why you're doing it, because you enjoy doing it. But if you're just loving what you do, it's because, yeah, you know, I'm just in this field and I'm just being dragged along, so I'm just going to enjoy what I do. But for me, if I just, like, I'm grudgingly moving along, I'm not going to be very happy. So love what you do is great, but do what you love. It's in your control. Mondays become less mundane and weekends become a little less exciting. But the difference is the whole week becomes exciting. To close, unlocking your full potential would be 4 things that you'd have to do or want to do. Reflective practices, something on the lines of meditation, yoga, praying, believing in something, working out, doing something for your body. Things you enjoy, which I spoke about. Creative practices, things that help you and your creative juices to flow better. And of course, gratitude lists. To recap, don't be afraid to fail. Progress over perfection. Holistic development, balance, and above all, put love into everything you do. Love what you do and put love into everything you do. Mother Teresa says, do small things with great love, and they, I'm sure, will become great things. I would like to end with one of my favorite Indian poets. His name is Arunodaya Singh. He says, it doesn't have to mean anything to anybody. It just has to mean the world to you. My name is Madhuri. Thank you for listening.